We're back to even. And you're back on another podcast on a Monday, August 17th, 2026. Thank you all for being here. It's going to be a fun show. We are on our third 1, 2, 3 conference that we are going to preview for the upcoming college football season. Scotty Scheffler's back in the win column. He's back. All right. The Vikings are back. We got a lot of things that are back this week, so we got a lot to cover. Hopefully we don't go as long as we did last time, all right? Because we got some fun stuff to talk about too. Either way, we're going to have some fun tonight. I hope you have some fun this morning. Yeah, welcome to Monday. So what do you say we get the ship a sailing? You know who I am.
My name is Jeff.
And as always, by the one and only.
Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben. Ben. Hey, Ben. Oh, Ben. Ben.
Cheers, Benito. What's happening, brother?
Cheers, Jeffrey. Is that a regular Pepsi?
You like my little baby Pepsi?
Yeah, I like this. I'll have a diet Pepsi in solidarity with you. I'll balance it out.
I feel like Andre the Giant when I'm drinking these. Look at this.
That is my favorite thing right there about the mini cans is how massive of a human I feel that I am.
I am God.
Yeah, it's weird feeling, ain't it?
Well, yeah, when you do that, obviously you don't. You like drink them with like 2 fingers because they're so damn tiny.
Yeah, you don't want to crush the can.
We got them because like Jackson and he'd have buddies over. I don't know if I felt guilty about giving children full sodas. So I was like, 8 ounces. It's not a full one.
That is odd to feel guilty about that. I understand what you're saying, but I guess it's just different. You're raising like full blown kids now. Like your kids are getting to the point where they start to make their own decisions, right? Like the rest of the rest of my friends don't have children that age.
Yeah, and these are old. Like now he'll drink a full soda. And I don't feel as weird about it. But 8, 9, 10. Like when they're young.
Yeah.
Gosh, I want to say 10 more than anything. Not 8 or 9. Because I still think that's crazy. Yeah. So at about 10, he's like, "Can we have some soda in the house?" I was like, fine. So we got baby cans.
There you go.
Got some baby Sprites, some baby root beers, and some baby Pepsis.
Yeah. Baby ones are definitely more expensive too, which is a bumski.
Are they really? I guess.
Yeah, if you look at, I like to check the price per ounce a lot when I'm shopping,
I'm a big price per ounce guy. Price per unit.
Yeah, you show me that price. It is my ultimate decision making. Like that is, here or there. I'm like,
well, that's how Costco and Sam's get you.
Because they don't give you those.
No, they do.
At Costco and Sam's? I haven't said
it makes so much sense. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I guess I don't really pay attention there. But Walmart or a grocery store, I definitely pay attention more.
That's fair.
Which no reason to, Like today, we were at Costco Sunday, obviously. Did love this is the first time we really used the executive member 9 o'clock. Perk. You're not an executive member?
No, I'm not rich and famous like you, apparently.
Well, I'm far from rich or famous.
Sure.
But when I first got my membership, they just kind of talked me into it. They're like, well, it's $120. You get the refund check. I guarantee your first year you get one more than $60 to cover the other half of what your thing was. And I was like, okay. And I did. This last year we did not. We just spent a day. It was like $40. But, don't got to go in with all the peasants. So that's kind of nice.
Hell yeah, brother.
Anyways, there's this room spray. Don't really know what room spray is. Fragrance. Ton wanted to get it. She's like, but it's $15. I'm like
the de-esser?
A what?
De-esser.
I don't know.
Or, like in your bathroom.
Oh, no. like we have those, like your, what do you call it? Lysol.
Masking spray.
Yeah, your Lysols. This is like,
De-esser.
yeah, got it. This is like I don't know, just like you spray it a couple times, and I feel like it's the same idea, maybe just a more sophisticated spray. You know,
Sure.
no price per ounce. My wife really wanted it. She's like, but it's $15. Then I'm at Costco. I'm like, that's the cheapest thing here. You know, so just go ahead. So we got that was our big buy today.
Nice.
Yep. New collapsible basket too. They're on sale. Those were $8. So I guess the $15 spray was not the cheapest thing, even in our cart. Should have kept looking. Might have found a hell of a deal on something in there.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Probably have an answer.
You're going to. That's kind of who you are. You ever been around or near a Costco grand opening?
No, but there will be one here soonish. Should I go?
So, well, how you respond to what I'm about to tell you will tell me if you're going to go or not. So we just got a new one nearby.
How close is nearby?
6-7 minutes.
Okay.
Super strange. There's one in Maple Grove. Maple Grove's 10 minutes away. This one's, 7 minutes the other way. It's like, I don't know, just kind of strange that they're that close to each other.
Sure.
But they opened a new one. It opened on August 14th. No, hey, grand opening blowout specials as far as I know.
Yeah, I could see Costco not doing that.
Yeah, they just opened the doors to Costco.
Yeah.
Like every other day.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of people were there for hours before it opened.
Why?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, we love Costco. This is an established fact on this podcast. We love going there. You spend your Sundays there.
We love Costco and Sam's. Both of us hold both memberships.
We double dip.
We are bulk club lovers.
Yes. And without like doorbuster deals, again, there are reports that people were camped out there.
Yeah, I just never understood that for anything. New iPhones, nothing. One time, it was like on my 18th birthday, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out. That was the only game I think I ever really bought at midnight. And there was people in there for hours. And then we showed up at 10 o'clock, which is still hours to spend in Walmart. But, some people were there at 3 in the afternoon at the Fairmont Walmart. And, yeah, just crazy. Yeah, are you finding what you got? Do you have a free executive club member if you're the first 100 in the door?
Okay. So I am looking.
Dogs for life? What are we doing?
Dogs that don't die?
No, like hot dogs, dude.
Both would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is just in general. This is not necessarily there. It just says sometimes they offer enhanced gourmet food samples, like ribeye or specialty cheeses.
For the grand openings?
I guess, as you're going through the aisles, they just got cuts of ribeye steak there for you to munch on.
No, thanks.
And exclusive, hard to find inventory such as rare liquors, designer shoes, and luxury apparel. I don't know. It's all from Reddit. Who knows?
You would think they would wheel in some good shit, right? I mean, that's just kind of who they are, what they do. However, I just don't know that I could really get behind it. I'm not I try to be a patient man, Jeff, but if my wife, who I'll do about anything for, said, let's go stand in line at Costco,
Mm-hmm.
I'd tell her, you can. Let me know when the door's open or you get close to the door and I'll come up. I'll sit in our car. That's just not for me, for nothing. Nothing, man, nothing, dude. I don't do there's no reason to do that for anything.
No. Yeah, I'm reading some articles. Nothing no grand opening specials that they're talking about. Saying
Yeah, I'm sure not. I mean,
to maybe 1,000 people were in line when the doors finally opened to the general public. It took from 7:41 a.m. to 8:29 a.m. for the entire line to get in the store.
So an hour and 8 minutes, right?
That's under an hour.
Okay. Oh, I have the times backwards, anyways. But
yeah. But I mean, almost an hour to get into the store once it opens.
To go to another Costco.
Just go to Costco.
You know what? You know what the best part is? Okay, so now the old Costco, which you 100% will refer it to, new Costco, old Costco. That's everybody. The old Costco will not be as busy for a while.
And I love that.
Yeah, 100%, dude. That's the best. That's the best when something like that happens. And then it's like, oh, everybody go to the new one. Everybody keep going.
I'll have you know, right, that this one that opened up, from the looks of it, as I have driven by to take Jackson to a basketball or football practice or whatever, looks to have as unorganized parking entrance exit situation as every other one I've been to. So
yeah, for people, man.
So this is good. They're
No, they do have a very strict thing when they're building a Costco, and it's like, hey, we can't have the parking lot make sense.
No,
can't make it easy to get in and out. For instance, today we were there so early, I didn't know what to do with myself because I could park anywhere. And I kind of had to drive around a little bit. And I told Ton even I don't know what to do. I've never been to Costco where I'm not just searching for a parking spot. So that was pretty cool. But it is the worst flow of all time. Man, I would like to see a lot of the shoppers. I say this probably every time you talk about Costco on the road. Just how they drive the carts. I did it to Ton. I had her she's like, oh my God, you scared the hell out of me. We're just going down an aisle and I just kept pushing the cart rolling and I just darted off into another aisle, just making fun of the people around us. Mm-hmm. And she didn't really pick up on my joke, but she didn't like it. But I was like, that's how these people are acting today. And it's pissing me off.
Yeah.
So maybe if you happen to be on the executive board of executive members of Costco, I would assume that's what their board is called. I don't know. You should, for a grand opening, hear me out, just spitballing ideas, have a event called Costco etiquette.
Yes. Costco training.
Yeah. We could even do the little kid shopping carts where it says future customer in training, the little Hy-Vee flags they got. Mm-hmm. We could do that for people. We do it we do it for old people when roundabouts come to towns and they're like, hey, let's show you how the roundabouts work.
Hell yeah.
Let's show you how to maneuver in a Costco. All right. You stay on the right side of the road, much like always. Yes. Do me a favor. Don't leave your cart. Walk 27 yards the other way. Don't put your cart sideways to read something. There's just a lot of things that I could think of that we could probably train people on better at a Costco.
Yeah, respect the flow of traffic, right? Walk on the right side of the aisle.
Yeah. Don't go against it too. Okay, you come in, you start going right. Okay, up and down the aisles. Go all the way to the back. And then now, if you looked at the front from the front store, you're not on the left side of the store. and you go, and then you get to the middle, and then you do it all again, and then you do the checkout. Okay, that should be the only flow. They should just have like the old COVID arrows back on the floor at Costco.
Yeah. Should.
Now they got AT&T in there.
Oh, yours got AT&T.
Oh, yeah. Ours does have AT&T. Hey, can I interest you in AT&T? No.
Did it used to have something else?
No. I think ours has always had AT&T. I have seen like Verizon at other ones before.
The Maple Grove one had T-Mobile.
Okay. Yeah, maybe maybe T-Mobile. I've seen different providers in there, spamming customers.
Yeah.
And I always love when I'm walking out. Water heater, windows, doors. No, thank you. Have a great day. Have a wonderful Sunday. God bless you. Amen. Keep it moving.
Put the black mark on the receipt. Let me leave.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, it's cool though. So I can't wait for you to go. I will not go to they're building one just off of the 101 in Thomas. It's actually the first ever one on technically Native American land. Apparently, it's technically on the Gila River. I think that's Gila River. Yeah, reservation. No, Salt River reservation. Out there. So kind of cool, kind of interesting. So there will be no booze, essentially.
Yeah.
There's a really good Walmart out that way that is like spectacular, super clean, always great, picked up, no booze, really nice spot.
Okay.
So
okay.
I can't wait for your review. I can't wait till you go to the new Costco, Jeff.
Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah, brother.
But we're not done talking about you yet. You got to travel this week. That's why we didn't have a Thursday pod.
I did, yeah.
You got to tell us about the course, about the foundation.
Okay.
Look pretty sweet. Our Colorado friends were pretty surprised that you were at such a prestigious club.
Yeah, why'd they let a heathen like me in there? Yeah, no, I got invited again. This is the second time I've been out there to play golf in the Special Forces Foundation fundraiser held at Sanctuary Golf Course in Monument. No, it's not Monument. I don't know. Around there, around Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's just an incredible event all the way around, and like what it supports. That foundation in and of itself, really goes to support, obviously the best of the best, right? You're out there, obviously you go out there to play golf and have a good time, but it's to raise money to support Green Berets as they transition out. And they're all, there's a ton of them there, right? They do a whole skydiving, parachuting into, the golf course, carrying flags and stuff. They usually let somebody jump out of a plane with them and do a tandem jump. So there's, just a bunch of people out there playing golf with a bunch of Green Berets mixed in there with them. And these dudes are just, they're just awesome. Like if you're ever around them, they are our best and are wildly under served as they get out. I'm trying to figure out how to undersupported as they get out. And unfortunately, right, like, I was talking to my wife about this. I was like, look, like, I don't mean this in a negative way, but these guys are just stone cold killers. And I don't mean like in a bad way, like, but they are the most driven, purpose-filled humans that you're ever going to meet. And, in a lot of ways, like athletes, when that is gone from their life, because you can't do it forever, whether, they get out after, maybe an injury, or they've just, kind of said, look, I've done all I can do, or they retire. A lot of times they lose their way. and a lot of them fall into crisis. I mean, we've talked about the military a lot in the past of just like not enough is done for soldiers, and soldiers who have seen combat and seen war. Suicide rates are really high, and unfortunately, I think in that community, it's significantly higher because they are you know all gas, no brakes when they're in there. And, you just get to talk to them and, just hear their stories and, just hang with them. And it's all to support that, right? It raises a ton of money for that foundation. They have a bunch of those events around the country. Every year they do one up at some Trump course in New Jersey. They do one in Florida, one in Arizona, one in California, and then they do one here. And they raise a lot of money to help support these guys, and the support goes to helping them with addiction, to they basically have a rapid response team of people who have been in and served with them, that when one of them says they're in crisis or they need help, like they'll drop everything. They'll go on vacation and they need to be flown to wherever this person lives, right? Because a lot of the stories are, hey man, I went down to my basement at 3 o'clock and opened the safe and was staring down the barrel of a gun tonight, and that needs rapid intervention for those guys, because those guys are all about commitment. And, when they commit to something, it's usually pretty quick. So, they need to have that response time, immediate. And yeah, I mean, you just hear you hear a bunch of cool stories from them about, their service and what they've been in. And then you just hear tragedy too, as well. Right. Like we had to, I shouldn't say had to, we got to see and hear from a Gold Star wife who her husband and her whole family was there. Her son was there on one of the holes, and just a great kid. And, I think she had two other children as well, but they weren't there. He was on his 17th deployment in 23 years and was killed in action 3 weeks before he was going to come home. And that was his last deployment. He had already put in his retirement papers, and so like to have your world just, ripped from you like that, it's painful beyond belief. And, goes a long way in telling their stories and making sure that money is raised to help support all of them, and to help support a burial and support, the family being able to stay in touch with the community and stay connected and all those things. So, really powerful event at a really great golf course, surrounded by, the most impressive humans you'll ever meet. It raises a ton of money, and it's still not enough. You know what I mean? It's still not enough. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. The golf course, as you mentioned, right, is incredible as well. And there's like this story behind it. And I think why the Colorado crew is a little jealous is, so it's owned, or was owned, by David Lindberger, or Lindeberger. I don't know how you say his name exactly, but he's the guy who owns Remax. All right. I'm assuming most people know what that is. So obviously a billionaire, many times over. And unfortunately, he passed away like a week ago. So now it's just owned by his family. But he wanted to go golfing with his daughter, or his daughter was getting into golfing. And he's like, cool, let's join this country club. Call it Country Club X. And this is a legend. I don't know if it's true. It's not like written down anywhere, but anybody who talks about the course says this legend. He wanted to join a course with his daughter so that they could play golf together. And they were super excited to accept him, but then let him know women aren't allowed. And he said, oh, all right, cool. Watch this. He bought like 600 acres of land across the street in a piece of terrain that should not have a golf course. and he built one of the best courses in the world in these hills and in these mountains. And there are 2 members there. It's him and his daughter. And he accepts no applications for memberships. You cannot call and make a reservation to play there. It is as exclusive gets, and as big of a, you want to know what fuck you money is. This is what fuck you money is. As he, once it got built, and David Lindberger, he was also in the service at some point. I think he was a Marine, and was a helicopter pilot. He started opening up the course to charities so that they could utilize it to raise money. And so charitable organizations are allowed to host tournaments there to raise money. And so they host like 25 charity tournaments a year. And if you are lucky enough to get an invite, you generally drop what you're doing and say, be right there. Yeah, man, the course is crazy. It's so cool. It has no business existing. It's in immaculate shape, and it's a hell of a lot of fun to play. So
that's really cool, man. All of that. That's awesome. Yeah. Appreciate you sharing all of that with us. Probably pretty cool for you to get back around those kind of people as well. So
it's humbling.
Yeah.
To say the least. Guys that have done it, that did it their whole life.
Yeah.
Or did it until they broke, whatever you want to call it, right? Like till they reach their breaking point. And yeah. It's just a good reminder of like the level that people go through or go to for our country, for you, me, right? And our loved ones. So yeah, man. If you get an opportunity to ever like help in organizations, it doesn't have to be those ones. There's plenty of them. Try. If you can, give what you can, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's incredible though. It's incredible.
So I'm assuming the Ridge at Castle Pines is the one that does not allow women. That is right across the street.
I don't know. And I don't know if it's that one or not.
A few right in that, literally right in that area. There's quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
But the pictures you sent, incredible. Views, yeah,
it's crazy.
And yeah, the Colorado guys were like, sanctuary, what? How?
Yeah, no. It was funny. I texted Mez later that day. I was like, dude, I was almost about ready to call you because like we had a guy who was like, I don't know if I can make it. And I told the guy, my buddy, Rocky.
Yeah.
I was like, I got one. And he's like, I love that you were going to randomly show up in Colorado and text me about golf and figured that I would figure out how to make it work. I was like, yeah, I figured you would.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
So, yeah, man. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool joint.
Hell yeah, dude. No, that's sweet. Makes for a fun week.
That was my week, yeah.
Hell,
be there.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, and then this weekend, hell, what'd we do? Jocelyn had a play.
What was the play?
The Addams Family.
Nice. Was she Wednesday?
Fester.
Oh, she was Fester, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Go, Josh.
It's a fun one. Yeah, no, she had a lot of lines. She's one of the 5 leads, and yeah, really cool production. They got to do the show 2 times, so I got to see it Friday night and Saturday. Just like this was like Willy Wonka last year, where they do it for like 6 days and then put on a show. Always blown away by that, man.
That is pretty crazy.
That these kids, like, they learn so many of these lines, and there's like singing and dancing in this one.
And I'm sure like the Addams Family, that not that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory isn't. That seems like a play that other like people would just generally be into. Like that sounds
Yeah.
Good time, you know. It's not the king and I, you know.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. I went golfing with Jackson and the wife today. Jocelyn's down at Gigi's.
Nice.
So we got to go golfing, and yeah, that was a good time. It's a good week.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Monday now. We got to get back on the grind.
That's right.
Ugh.
No, it's Monday.
Back at it, brother.
Back to it.
Should we discuss the All Coast Conference?
Let's discuss.
Or you got anything else you want to chop up before we dive?
I mean,
or do we talk Vikings first?
Yeah, we had Vikings preseason opener. We had an incredible UFC night.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a lot.
What do you want to talk about first, Ben?
Weekend. Yeah, I mean, we can start with the Scolders. This is a heavy Skol-based pod.
It is. We got one. We got a win.
They did win. They did win. Yep. The MetLife turf takes another, actually an ACL. We thought it was an Achilles the way he fell, but it does take another ACL down. Yeah, and a former New York Jet, someone used to that turf, Jamal Adams, who was looking really good. Vikings were excited. He's out the rest of the year. So clearly with the ACL tear. Early reports today, though, this might open the door for year 15 for Harrison Smith, who is not officially retired. Lots of hoopla about him possibly just not wanting to do training camp, which is understandable. So 15 years of doing anything, I wouldn't want to do the full August of practice either.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't either. It's interesting, like, listening to people up here, like, some are like not like they thought like that was always the reason, but then like there's some now that are saying like even with this, they just don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I love Harrison. He's a legend, right? He's a future Hall of Famer. I don't know how he isn't. One of the best to ever wear purple. 14 years in the jersey, for sure. I mean, like every accolade you can get outside of winning a Super Bowl. You know, Defensive Player of the Year, I believe, once. All Pro a couple times, multiple Pro Bowls. Maybe it wasn't Defensive Player of the Year, but he was one of the best in the world, no doubt about it. And it'd be sick, but at the same time, like that means, I mean, I think Harrison probably played close to a full 4 at Notre Dame. The guy's probably pushing 37 years old.
Right.
At least 35, 36, right? So for him, for the team, like, you know, I know that's not ancient. I'm there, but man, I don't know about suiting it up every day either.
Heard that.
Yeah, he is 37, born in 89. So
I think like what sucks most about like the Jamal Adams thing was like he was starting to show some flashes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily even in that game, but in that game he did, right? He made some big plays, got a sack, was just kind of like mixing it up. They were starting to move him back to safety, which sucks is like kind of felt like not only was he healed and, you know, good for him for making it all the way back from this like apparently terribly torn hamstring.
Yep.
You could see that B-Flow was kind of like, hell yes. I've got a veteran who understands not only like what I'm trying to do, which is a work in progress, I think, for anybody at all times when they're playing that game.
Right.
For him, but just generally understood what other teams were trying to do.
Yeah.
And it like that's probably one of the biggest hurdles for anybody in the NFL, right? It's what made Tom Brady so good, you know, Peyton Manning so good. It's what makes the greats great is they understand what the other team is trying to do. Yes, there are always tells, and you can learn that from film, but like it's just the instinct of, oh, I'm seeing something in this situation. I know this is what they're going to do. You know what I mean? Like they say it's like a second sense, but it only comes from years of doing it, man.
No, for sure. For sure.
And he was obviously a great when it came to playing his position. Like,
I will say that safety room's starting to look better and better. Jacob Thomas, the undrafted Thomas, that he had a nice play late in the game, a nice pick. Sounds like Jacoby Thomas, the kid they drafted from Miami, has been dealing with some back tightness stuff. But it's just like that Brian Flores defense, like it matters, yes, but it doesn't. Like Theo Jackson looked really good last year, a couple times starting. And then you have Jay Ward just come through and absolutely just about put Jackson Dart in the hospital. Yeah, that was incredible, right? Just coming through free and was like, fuck it, I'm gonna blast this guy. So yeah, I mean, yes, it sucks. I was obviously always skeptical if he's going to make the 53 or not. Clearly not now. I mean, he'll be on injured reserve the rest of the year. But yeah, the last thing I'm worried about is that Brian Flores defense.
no,
like, it looked so good all day. The only time they scored is on a broken play, which, okay, whatever. Also hilarious that Harbaugh and the Giants have Dart go to the tent to get evaluated after he's rolling on the turf for a good 30 seconds after getting blasted by Jay Ward. It's a preseason game. They put Jameson. They get a screen on 3rd and 26 that goes for like 40, which is comical, but also, again, preseason stuff, whatever. It is what it is. And then they put Jackson back in and he scores. And everybody's like, yeah, Jackson Dart. It's like, dude, this guy's going to be hurt so much. Like, I can't even begin to tell you. But there is some safeties out there that might fit the bill a little bit, like on a 1 year. Jordan Poyer, he's a little bit older, much like Harrison. I don't know if he wants to come back, but he played Miami. He might have been with B-Flow, so guy that knows it. He's most recently in Buffalo. Taylor Rapp is out there. He might even been a Viking at one point in his life, I do feel. Maybe not. Anyways, but there's just some guys out there still that could fill that hole if that's what they think they need to do. But Jay Ward looks good. Obviously Metellus is kind of a lock, so we'll see. The biggest news of the day is apparently a reporter out of Baltimore, of all places, is saying that JJ McCarthy wants out now. He wants out and wants out now. So I don't know where that came from. Is JJ's press conference? He said, I don't want to leave here. I love it here. I'm going to still compete. La da da da. All the good answers.
Yeah. That's the hot button, right? The hot button topic is the QB sitch. Look, starters basically got one series.
Yeah.
They got a field goal out of it. A lot of running.
But it looked good. The run game looked good.
Looked good. A lot of him out of shotgun. A lot of Kyler out of shotgun. He had a nice pass to Jordan Addison on a 3rd down pickup. Otherwise, look, you're not going to see anything too exciting. For crying out loud, Justin Jefferson's not even on the field.
That's a very fun point. Make sure that everybody knows.
But from a quarterback standpoint, hey, he looked like he knew what he was doing. And that's only with a week of full time with the ones, right? It looked smooth in contrast to when JJ McCarthy came in. And I get it. He's with the twos. He looks like he's regressing in that he's, slow to get out of the huddle. First play is a broken play. Just nothing looks super sharp. I don't know. So, and then Wentz comes in and they move the ball. Again, now he's with the 2/3s against the 2/3s. So take that for what you will. I don't know. I mean, a lot of the people up here are like, look, Wentz is our backup. It's not the kid.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. The one thing that'll forever keep me salty about this situation is that if Kyler comes in and the Minnesota Vikings have anything reliable of a run game this year, which they did not last year, which is always a great way to help any quarterback, right? So
Yeah.
it's like quarterback's best friend. It's a good reason Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl last year. If you'd like to talk about it, call me because it's the truth. Um, and how many multiple different starting combinations of O lines did the Vikings play last year? There was a clip from last year that they showed in that game. I just watched on ESPN app. You guys obviously got to watch like the K fan simulcast. I had the Giants simulcast, so they showed a JJ McCarthy clip, and like at that point in the clip, it was Justin Skol at left tackle, Donovan Jackson. He didn't miss any at guard, Fries at the other guard, but then they had Brandel at right tackle, and then I think it's Jurgens was at center, and it's like, oh, so we got backup every other position down the line. And it just all feeds into it's just one of those things like it's forever as a fan going to make me extremely salty when JJ McCarthy inevitably goes somewhere else and has success.
Mm-hmm.
That's the feeling. And, I'm so glad I don't live in Minnesota. I don't talk to a lot of Vikings fans outside of our text threads. I couldn't stand having conversation with people every day from the things I see on the internet, man. It would just drive me insane. But I'm sure they'll do great. I'm sure Kyler will do well. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, it's just a goofy sitch right now, man. But I think, totality of the game. I thought a lot of people were really hard on Caleb Banks and Big Citrus. But I also saw Caleb Banks like a couple plays, like he had some quick swims and he was in the backfield. And then sure, he got blocked up, but the guy hasn't played like a real game in almost a year either. So, and it's a preseason game. That's what they're for, essentially their practice. So, but I don't know. Any other takeaways from you?
No, man. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a will look good. Will the thrill?
Yeah, I mean, he's the best in the world.
Oh.
Had one with each holder too, right? We have a punting competition here in Minnesota.
Ooh, yes.
Johnny Hecker or the Australian kid? Johnny Hecker would be pretty sweet. Absolute fake field goal, fake punt legend. Johnny Hecker, former St. Louis Ram, LA Ram. I think he was on the Titans most recently. Also a massive human, dude. Johnny Hecker is huge. Johnny Hecker is 6'5". That's just a big dog back there. Yeah, just a punter. Just a punter.
Shout out.
So we'll see. But yeah, dude. Sorry. Anyways, back to you.
No, yeah. Will the thrill look good? Otherwise, yeah. I mean, it's just nice to see him. I'm looking forward to this week. This week they got the joints, right? And maybe that's why the Baltimore Reporter is reporting this.
Ooh, so he's got something to talk about when he's here. That makes sense. Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. That
tracks, right? Did I lose you?
No, I'm right here.
Oh, all right. Thought I lost you for 2 seconds.
No.
Cool.
No, that does track. That does.
Yeah, so they got the joints. That'll be exciting. Exciting to get the clips out of that. And what that's going to mean.
Oh, and there will be clips.
Mm-hmm.
There will be clips, dude.
Yeah. So, yeah, looking forward to that. And then we get another preseason game.
Yeah. I think we have football on Thursdays, Fridays, maybe not Fridays, but for sure like Thursdays and Saturdays from here till essentially like the end of time again. So that's good.
Let's go.
How many days until college football? Drum roll, please. We are as the listeners are listening, 12 days until college football.
11 more sleeps.
11 sleeps.
Let's go.
That's pretty crazy, dude. We're so close. I can taste it.
Woo.
It's exciting. It's exciting. Today, we have the All Coast Conference, formerly known as the Atlantic Coast Conference. Technically still is, but they should change their name as we stretch from Atlantic Coast to Pacific Coast, and we scatter in some Texas flair and Dallas, of all places, of no coast in between.
Yeah, gotta love it. Runner-up last year, produced the runner-up in college football, so shout out to them. That's why they get to go second to last.
Yeah, do you think did the ACC fix, I don't even know this answer. Did they fix how you get into the conference championship game?
Well, I think they fixed it, or they think they fixed it, by way of adding a 9th conference game.
Yeah, they did adopt a tiebreaker policy following the 2025 controversy where a 5-loss Duke reached the title game over a higher-ranked Miami and ultimately won the Atlantic Coast Conference. Head-to-head priority, balanced game counts, body of work. Okay, that doesn't really help me, but yeah, it sounds like they did. So for those unaware, we had a 7-5 team. Duke end up winning the conference, and I do believe they took on Virginia, who was 11-3 last year. They fit the bill of deserving to be in the conference championship, right? But yeah, the national champion runner-up, 13-3, 6-2 in the league, did not make the league championship game. In I believe that's played in Charlotte. So now we're here. We are at the Atlantic Coast to follow up on something from last week. There is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks in this conference with 17 teams. There's only 5 quarterbacks that are on the team they were recruited to out of high school.
Ooh.
So our list grows. Our list grows here. I'm excited to hear what you have to say about the old ACC conference. Did you bring records to the table tonight?
I did bring records to the table tonight, my friend.
Okay.
I also brought a new way of ranking them.
Yeah, this will be fun.
Okay.
Closest to the Mississippi River?
No, but
a listener submission.
We were alerted that we might have like A, confused ourselves, B, confused others, or C, just made people laugh when we were trying to explain, or you were trying to explain how you wanted me to list them if they were tied.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understood you. I don't know if you understood you.
Yeah, well then, when somebody else explained it to me, and then when we got the text, and then I asked, I said, is that not reverse alphabetical? That guy never responded after that. I said, am I wrong? Is that not how you would rank them? And then he said the same thing that I said. And I said, that's what I'm saying. And then he just was like, okay, I can't respond to these guys anymore.
Yeah. Well, we were a mess, and that's okay.
So here's what we're going to do. I just want whoever, well, you have the tiebreaker this week, how we're going to rank them. So you go first.
And it's my super scientific, totally logical, cannot be debunked way of breaking ties. Okay. And so I decided to rank these teams based on how likely I think you would encounter a guy named Gary who grills in cargo shorts.
At their games?
Just in general.
Well, I don't understand them.
You will, as I read it.
Okay, well, you can do that. I'll just tell you. You can say the team, and I'll just tell you where I got them ranked.
So that's how I'm going to break ties, right? I still did their regular football records, right? But if I got like 4, 5, and 7 teams,
right,
I had to come up with a way to break that tie. So you're going to get the ranking on how likely they are to grill in cargo shorts and be named Gary.
Okay. That sounds good. I went alphabetical again. So if I had a tie, so if Boston College, Clemson, Duke, and Wake Forest were all tied, I would say Wake Forest first, as we're reading from the bottom to the top of the list.
In reverse alphabetical order.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So I'm still going to do that because that makes sense in my brain.
It's totally fair. You want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
I'll go first, I guess.
Well, you're probably going first next week.
Okay, that's fine.
Right?
I don't know. Sure. You can go first. You can go first.
You're the Big Ten sword holder.
Yeah.
If I had to be the SEC sword holder, and I think you went first on the Big 12. So
and then you went first last week.
Yeah. So this is like snake draft. We're snake drafting the order that we're doing this.
Okay. That sounds good.
There we go. Yeah, coming in last for me, brother. With their overall record's 2-10. I don't have them winning a single game in conference. That is the mighty Stanford Cardinal, who has a mascot that's a tree, but it's named after a bird. Okay. I'm going 2-10. They're going to pick up a win against Hawaii at home, and then I think they beat Elon. Outside of that, I looked at their schedule. Looking at their schedule, it's a rebuilding year. Yeah, I mean the new QB's working alongside Andrew Luck. Like apparently he's getting involved with the program. I like that. That's exciting. They got 12 returning starters, which is second most in that conference. Usually something that you kind of lean into and want to take some pride in. But I think they got the hardest schedule in this conference when you go through it. They get all the quote unquote big dogs. They host Miami. They're at Duke, host Georgia Tech, at Wake Forest. They got to go to Notre Dame. They get to host NC State, but then they go to Louisville, to Virginia Tech, to Cal, and then they host SMU. I didn't see many wins on there. Somebody's got to be the last. They're last. In my official unbreakable ranking of Gary's That Grill, they came in number 16 out of 17. All right. His grill is an AI startup. It's probably valued around $340 million. Despite never successfully cooking an actual hamburger, probably cooks soy hamburgers.
Got it. Gary from Sanford. Got it. Denver. I have the Sanford Cardinal going 3-9. I do have them getting one conference win against Wake Forest. Let's see. Tavita Pritchard is the new head coach. He was most recently the Commanders quarterbacks coach. He's never been a head coach, and now he's a head coach of a Division I program. Andrew Luck's been there a couple years, and it's kind of seemingly turning into like an Andrew Luck friendship club kind of out there. They had Frank Reich last year, who again, not a college coach. He's been in the NFL his whole career. It's just an interesting spot, man. They bring in Davis Warren at quarterback from Michigan. Davis had some success at Michigan. He was 6-3 while he was there, but again, he was at Michigan. They bring in their highest rated transfer portal guy is wide receiver from Yale. So, he's smart because he went to Yale and then Stanford. So that guy's probably going to be a billionaire when football's over. So good for him. Nico Brown. But 6 in the portal, 18 out. The most concerning thing for me is last year they were 123rd in total defense and 134th in passing defense, but 25th in rushing defense, which is odd because you'd think you were 4-8, you would not be getting thrown on like that, but apparently they were. I have, I've got them picking up a couple wins here, but it's so crazy, how much college football has changed in 10 years. Stanford was a team in the Pac-12 that you just didn't really want to meet. Always good linebackers, obviously Andrew Luck. And for a while, they had such a good run, dude, and they were just so well coached. And now here they are on the Pacific Coast at the bottom of the Atlantic Coast. So I got them coming in 14th.
Right on. Like that. My next pick, Fred, I got them going 3-9 overall. I think they got 1 conference win. All right. And that's my beloved Tar Heels out of North Carolina. I think this still remains more rebuild than contender. 27 is probably looking a little better for them. It's Belichick's second year. I don't know if anybody ever thought he would get to year 2. He brought in Bobby Petrino to help take over the offense. That'll be interesting. I think Bobby Petrino is a character. Obviously, Bill Belichick's a character. So it'll be interesting to see how they work. Billy Edwards arriving at QB. But they had a ton of roster turnover. I think they had 30 kids depart in the portal. 5 returning starters, fewest in the ACC. The Belichick Petrino thing is just fascinating to me, and I think probably going to be a really good storyline or accidental reality TV show, however you want to look at it. I got them picking up wins against East Tennessee State. They get 1 win against Syracuse, and then that's a home win, and then a win against UConn away. They also ranked 9th on my Gary ranking, 9 out of 17, right? They will turn an innocent barbecue into a conversation that lasts 20 minutes and turns into an argument about what officially counts as a barbecue.
Seems very Carolina of them.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Tar Heels going 2-10, finishing 15th in the conference. I have them with no league wins. With you, they got the UConn win and the East Tennessee win. Belichick's 4-8 going into year 2. You talked about Billy Edwards Jr. coming in, Wisconsin and Maryland transfer. Nobody really big coming in. They do bring in 20 in the portal, but they lost 30. Deontay Robinson, D lineman, went to Oregon. Tyler Thompson is a defensive end. He went to Louisville. There's 2 pretty big losses for that squad. Steve Belichick's the defensive coordinator, and Mike Lombardi is the general manager, and they're both on leave right now from the program. Besides his girlfriend, this is just a shit show of a time in Chapel Hill, and really kind of ruining the Belichick legacy, in my opinion. I wish he'd just walk away and just be done with it, but I don't know, man. This is just such a weird thing. I don't see them being very good at all. Like I said, I got them 2-10, no league wins, chilling at the bottom.
Hear you, brother. Next up for me, Syracuse Orange. I got them going 3-9, 1 conference win. They start hot. They pick up wins against New Hampshire, then against Cal. They lose 1 to Pitt, and then they pick up a win against UConn, and then they go over the rest of the way. They got some interesting young talent, but they're probably a year away. They added some defensive front help. They got a really nice freshman wide receiver, Calvin Russell, that has potential to be a special young dude, but in all likelihood will transfer out. Only got 7 returning starters. Among the hardest ACC schedules, and they get Notre Dame. It's just a tough row ahead for these dudes. Yeah, got them going 3-9. On my Gary ranking, they are 13th out of 17. Gary is grilling in 31-degree weather, wearing shorts because it's actually not that bad out.
Doesn't sound like Syracuse to me.
That's the Syracuse guy.
I have Syracuse finishing 13th in the conference. The lonely 5-7 ball club. Fran Brown 13-12 heading into year 3. 8 returners on this roster. Stephen Jelly comes back. He was a Notre Dame transfer last year. Started 3-1 and then tore his Achilles. Sounds like he's going to be ready to rock. They do bring in a couple of big pieces. Biggest one for me is Juwan Johnson, running back from LSU, which I think will be huge. They brought in 18. They lost 29 in the portal. The 2 biggest ones out are Daryl Gill and John Tay Cook, both going to Ole Miss. That's a lot of lost production. Those 2 accounted for 77 receptions, 1,055 yards, and 7 touchdowns. The rest of the team only had 154 catches, 1,500 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So there's a lot of production to pick up. I do like Fran Brown. Fran Brown is a former Kirby Smart assistant. Year 1, they had Kyle McCord from Ohio State. He famously won his last game, and he's like, I think I just got you into the playoff, Dabo, which he did. And then year 2, obviously losing the quarterback is kind of just a weird spot, but they're a well-coached team. That's why I have them picking up a couple conference wins and finishing that 5-7 mark. Just believe in Fran Brown and what he can get done there, but still towards the bottom of the conference.
Word. Yeah, next for me, I got Boston College. Here's one of their weird tiebreakers, but makes sense. I got them going 2-10, but they do pick up a conference win in conference, obviously, over Syracuse. Hence them ranked above Syracuse, and also by Gary rankings. So, I got them picking up a win against Maine and then against Syracuse. Bill O'Brien's still there. They brought in Ted Roof, which is a great name, Roof, to take over the defense. That thing needs to be reset big time. They got a lot of portal help in the trenches, 6 offensive linemen, added a running back, Evan Dickens. That could be interesting for them, but only 5 returning starters. It's tied for fewest in the ACC, and just a brutal road schedule. Notre Dame, Miami, SMU, Georgia Tech, Duke. They're probably a better football team in actuality than this, but that schedule is just harsh if you're trying to rebuild. So got them at 2-10, 1 conference win. In the Gary rankings, 14th out of 17, right? This Gary owns the smallest legally allowable grill and has already received 3 complaints from the condo association about it.
Hell yeah, Gary. I got Boston College 1-11. I think they pick up a win against Maine. They brought in Mason McKenzie. He's a Saginaw Valley State transfer. Not to be confused with our favorite Division II transfer, Trinidad Chambliss. They lost a ton in the portal, man. They were a 2-10 team last year, and they lost 52 guys, and they only bring in 27.
Wow.
It's just not a good flip of people. I don't care who you bring in. Last year, they were 126th in total defense, and obviously they were down a lot, throwing a lot. So it's just like the most compelling stat of that of all time. They finished ranked 125th in rushing offense in the country and 14th in passing offense. I just don't see a lot here from Bill O'Brien. Some people love him, some people hate him. I think it's a really tough spot in the portal era. Boston College traditionally has produced some greats to college football and football in general, but we are far from those days. And unfortunately, I love on like the September 11th game when they play Rutgers, and they'll wear their the red bandana. And it just, cool stories, cool part of the country, rich history, and now it's just kind of sitting there.
Crowther game.
Yeah. So I got him dead last, dog. The lone 1-11. I don't see any surprises coming from them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Next up for me, I got Wake Forest. I don't feel great about this one, if I'm being honest, right? But also looking at the schedule, I feel good about other teams. And, when you start picking games, this is just kind of how it shook out. I got Wake Forest coming in at 4-8. This is after 9-win season last year. Gio Lopez, new transfer at quarterback. He's reunited with an OC that he had played with before. I think it's Rob Ezell. Am I saying that right? Ezel? Who cares? Yeah, Lopez is the key to this team. They got running back Damon Claiborne and offensive tackle Melvin Diani. That were major losses for that team. They only got 10 returning starters. They got a tough schedule. They got some, 4 or 5 high-end tests: Miami, SMU, Louisville, Georgia Tech. It is what it is. Wake Forest is also the 6th. Comes in 6th on my Gary ranking, right? Gary owns an unnecessarily nice outdoor kitchen with a TV above the grill and insists it was actually pretty reasonable.
All right. I have Wake Forest going 2-10. Jake Dicker did do really well in year 1 at Wake. Obviously, like you touched on, they were 9-4, 11 returning starters, 3-0, 7 on D, and their kicker. Here's my kicker, though. They do bring in Gio Lopez. They bring in a guy who, was in the league last year. He only won 4 games. They lost massive anchors on the O&D line, and Lopez threw 10 touchdowns and 11 starts last year. So there's like zero production there. He was, at Southern Alabama and then went to UNC. But you touched on Siani leaving, Mateen Igabara. He's the big stud tech transfer this year. He does do a good job, 24 in, 24 out in the portal. So keeps the team somewhat together, I guess, in that sense. But, man, it's all just around the quarterback for me. And you I don't know. I don't want to say he's the worst one, but in this conference full of quarterback transfers, it's not looking good. So I have them finish 16th, 2-10 in the conference.
Ooh. I gave them wins against Akron, Stanford, Merrimack, and Duke. I'm assuming you flipped the Stanford and Duke ones.
Yeah, I have wins against Akron and Merrimack.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on a string of losses, there's no saying that you'll beat Merrimack either. So I honestly, it's 100% on this Gio Lopez thing. Like I don't understand in the transfer portal era. I'd rather take a kid that has nothing than take a kid that started 11 games last year and threw 10 touchdowns. Like that's such a lack of production that I just don't know how you can go forward. I hope I eat my words, but I just do not see how you progress that.
Fair enough. Fair enough, brother. Next for me is Cal, the Golden Bears. I think this could be a chaos team with potentially 8 wins in them. I didn't give it to them, but I think they could be good. Yeah, Tosh Lupoy. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Replaces Justin Wilcox.
You nailed it, dog.
Hell yeah. Good recruiting and defensive credentials. Keeping their QB. I can't say that name. Jaron Kawe Sagapalute. Sagapalute. That was a big key for them. They added running back and Adam Muhammad and some OL help or offensive line help, but defense lost a pile of starters. Got 9 coming back. They avoid Miami, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Duke, which is why I think they could be kind of a sneaky potential 8-win team just because their schedule is favorable. And if their quarterback, I'm just going to call him JKS, has a breakout season, they could wreck some things in the middle of the standings. on my Gary rankings, California Gary has a grill that is locally sourced, wood-fired, and is a culinary platform. The burgers are plant-based. Okay.
Disgusting.
Well, what'd you expect?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what you're going to say when you start talking about Gary when we're breaking down the ACC.
It's the grilling guy.
Yeah.
Like, how likely are these guys to grill?
Yeah, I don't know. This is your
Cal guy is not.
Sure. No, I get it. I think Cal is very likely to win games this year. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I have Cal finishing 5th in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Oh,
I have them going 9-3. They do return 7 starters, right? 4 on O, 2 on D, and the kicker. Tosh Lapoy is the man. He was a big part of Alabama's success. He was the linebackers coach there. He was an incredible recruiter at Alabama. He ended up going to Oregon. He was the DC there the last couple of years, and he brought a lot of guys with him from Oregon. Jordan Somerville is his offensive coordinator. He was the Bucs quarterbacks coach last year. He's an Arizona guy. I've met him a couple times. Just a well-built staff with a couple guys I coached against. Adam Muhammad being one of them. He was at Apollo High School when I was at Willow Canyon. Adam Muhammad was the first time I'd ever seen a Division I running back in person, and it was like, I get it now. He was Arizona Cardinals Player of the Week, and he played about a quarter and a half, and he had 16 carries for 245 yards and 5 touchdowns. And I was like, oh yeah, no, he would just run circles around our defense. Dude. I was like, yeah, he's for real. They bring in Ian Strong, but they bolster around JKS for sure. That was a huge retention piece for them, with a new head coach, but they bring in 36 in, 61 out. Ian Strong from Rutgers, Cooper Perry, who's another Arizona kid, Notre Dame prep. He was at Oregon as a receiver. Man, I think they're they're a sleeper. I'm really excited to see what this team does, but I'm with you. They also have an incredibly easy ACC schedule, I feel. But I do think they'll pull off some big wins. I have them losing to Virginia Tech, SMU, and Virginia. But I think they knock off UCLA week 1 and kind of get the party started out there. I wouldn't be surprised if there was more here. This is just going to be an extremely fun team to watch. I'm really excited about Cal. I'm really high on Cal this year. I don't know what their over under is, but I would take the over.
Yeah, I don't think it's that high. I love that. Like I said, again, just looking at their schedule, it's sneaky. I didn't give it to them, but I love your confidence. You usually pick those. You know what I mean? Like, just, I feel like you do. So good for you.
Yeah, appreciate it. They got right now their win totals at 6.5. I would take that over 7. I mean, if just look at that schedule, man.
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse, Wagner, UNLV, Wake Forest, Stanford. I mean, there's 6 right there, and then if we talk about the other ones that I gave them, yeah, I don't see how they don't get to 7 at least. But it'll be fun, man. It's a good team. It's a really good team.
Right on. Next for me is Georgia Tech. I got them coming in 6-6. Just making sure I did this order right. Yep. Got them coming in 6-6. They're dangerous, but I'm a little cool on them. I think they had a really good year last year. Offense has to replace Haynes King and their OC. So, don't love that. Former running back Justice Haynes, headline addition in the portal, along with Malachi Hosley. And they got some interior O-line losses that are going to be a problem for them, I think, over the course of the year. I found 7 returning starters. We seem to have different numbers every time, so I look forward to hearing what you tell me on that. Look, they play Tennessee, Clemson, Louisville, Pitt, Vatech, Georgia. It's a tough schedule. So I might be stretching here with 6-6. Running backs are scary, but replacing King and Faulkner and their O-line issues is probably a little scarier. I got them picking up wins against Colorado, Mercer, Stanford, Duke, Boston College, and Wake Forest. Yeah, on my Gary ranking, they are number 8 out of 17. This Gary is an engineer and has modified his grill with aftermarket temperature sensors and tracks biscuit performance in a spreadsheet.
10 out of 10. We are tied on Georgia Tech. I also have them 6-6. I have them with 8 returners, 2 on offense, defense, 5 on defense, and then the kicker. That's probably where our numbers are one off. Is I have the specialist as well. Brent Key is an incredible coach. I think just some really big portal ads, and Justice Haynes, as you touched on, running back from Michigan, Noah Carter, DN from Alabama. And then the big question mark, Baby Mendoza, dude, Alberto coming in from Indiana. We'll see what happens. They were going to have a new quarterback either way this year. Aaron Philo, the backup from last year, transfers to Florida. They bring in Alberto Mendoza, 19 guys in the portal, 16 out. So it tells me it's a place that people want to stay, which is, I think, good when you're talking about the culture. But this is also a team that the last couple of years, especially under Brent Key, is 27-20. They're always going to be 500 or above, but then they'll have that 9-3 year, right? Like last year, they were 9-4, but I was a lot higher on them. And then 2 years ago, they start out with at the time, the 0-week upset of Florida State. And then both of them actually ended up being absolute dog shit teams. Yeah, dude, 6-6. I'm kind of right there with you. I got wins against New Mexico State. Sorry. I got Colorado, Mercer, Stanford, Duke, Boston College, and Wake Forest. And a couple of those could flip either way, but I'm right there. I think we both have them at 11. We're just locked.
Yeah, got them at the same damn record, same wins and everything. Next for me is Duke. The Duke Blue Devils, defending champs of the All Coast Conference. But I just think they're a prime candidate for a regression season. Manny Diaz comes back, obviously, as a coach. But with Darian Mensah leaving, QB position is quite unsettled. And that's kind of an important one to make sure you have locked down. Biggest losses in the portal, Mensah heading to Miami, and their leading wide receiver, Cooper Barkrate, left. They managed to hold on to running back Nate Shepard, which is nice. But again, when you lose your quarterback, 8 returning starters, difficult schedule. So I don't think they're going to repeat. All in all, Duke went from possible playoff sleeper to major QB questions almost overnight when he left. On my Gary ranking, Duke comes in at 12th out of 17. Duke Gary doesn't grill. Duke Gary has a guy. Makes sense.
I have Duke finishing 9th, 6-6. I love Manny Diaz. He's a hell of a coach. Year 3 now at Duke. They bring in Walker Eget from San Jose State. He was 10-8 as a starter out at San Jose State. Bring in a weapon in Javen Nichols, a Charlotte transfer, and Braden Miller, offensive tackle from Cal. As he touched on, those 2 big losses, both to Miami, and then Trey Moore heads to Ohio State. But again, another spot where we're kind of even on the ins and outs, and they're lower numbers in this day and age, which I think is really cool and exciting and kind of tells you about what's happening there. I wanted to be sure I found these numbers as we've done this. I just think that's probably going to be the bigger picture of, we brought in 19 guys. They lost 17. Okay. It's a spot that people want to be. It's really hard. The thing that I think kind of painted them to be the 7-5 Atlantic Coast Conference champion team is Manny Diaz is a heck of a defensive coach, and they were number 12 in the nation in turnover margin at a +10. Obviously that also has a lot to do with Mensah taking care of the ball, but I looked up Walker Eggett. He took care of the ball pretty good at San Jose State. This is his last year. He was a 4-year kid out there at San Jose State. So just kind of his one shot, I think, at, the big time. And we'll see. This is, Duke has had such a run the last couple years of we had the kid who went to Notre Dame, Riley Leonard. He plays hero at Duke. He moves on. He's great. Now we had Daria Mensah from Tulane, and then Duke, and now he's at Miami. So I don't know if we get 3 in a row. That seems really hard to do in this day and age, to hit 3 kind of, unknown or lack thereof QBs and turn them into something. But, proof's in the pudding. So I have them going 6-6, but I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled out some shocks as well.
Fair enough. I don't feel good about my next one. I'll be honest. I just feel like this is a really tough one to project. Next up for me is Florida State. I got them going 8-4. All right. They pick up wins against New Mexico State, SMU, Central Arkansas, Virginia, Clemson, Boston College, NC State, and Florida. Losses to Bama, Louisville, Miami, and Pitt. I see like 3 of those that could also easily be losses, right? Mike Norvell's back calling plays after Gus Malzahn left. Tim Harris Jr. moving into the OC role. QB Ashton Daniels, running back Trey Winsler, headline the additions for me for them. Entire offensive line, though, is being rebuilt. Only 6 returning starters from what I see or saw or found. And then just a tough schedule. Bama, Miami, Louisville, Clemson, Florida. Not a lot of favors there. Roster's got talent, obviously. Florida State, right? You just recruit your state, you're probably going to win. Can they put it all together? I got them going 8-4. On my Gary ranking, 7 out of 17. Okay. Florida State Gary, shirtless by 2 p.m., regardless of the temperature, and has accidentally lit something on fire at least once.
That Florida State Gary sounds like the only Florida State alumni I know, Peter Hill. Same guy. I have them 10th in the rankings here. I have Florida State going 6-6. They're 5-7 last year. They do return 6 starters, 2 on O, 4 on D. Mike Norvell creeping up on a 500 record at Florida State, which is not good. We're 2 years removed from a perfect regular season with a conference championship. Ashton Daniels, Stanford and Auburn transfer, 5-18 lifetime as a starting quarterback.
Not great, Bob.
Not great. Additions to the squad: Xavier Chaplin, tackle from Auburn, and Quintravion Wisner, running back from Texas. But you lose both starting safeties, Earl Little to Ohio State, Edwin Joseph to Ole Miss. Here's the big kicker. 24 transfers in, 68 out on this Florida State roster. So people don't want to be there. Deuce Robinson is one of the best in America. He's a freak athlete. Just down the road, Pinnacle High School here. Both receivers are back, so that is great for them. I looked, and this is probably the craziest thing of all time, and I don't understand it. They were 5-7 last year, 2-6 in the league. Nationally, they were the number 6 total offense in the nation and the number 28 total defense in the nation. I don't know how you can find ways to lose games like that every week. And that's exactly what they did. That's how you are ranked in the top 10 and top 30 respectively on both, which is, I mean, you look at that and you're like, damn, that's a really good football team. And they weren't. Just incredible, man. Unfortunately for Mike, this is probably it, unless they happen to go crazy. But like I said, I got them 6-6. I don't see a lot from there. They do have tough games. But Florida and Alabama, 2 in the SEC. I just don't see it, man. Florida State's falling off. I feel bad for, that 14-0 team that didn't get in the playoff because that's kind of been it since. So I got him at, you looks like you got him at 9. I got him at 10. We're right there. A couple wins here or there different.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Whew.
Jeff's ingesting powder.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, man. When Florida State's good, it's fun. It's just nice to have a power back, but yeah. Anyways, moving on. Next up for me, coming in at 8-4, North Carolina State. Our dark horse, with a schedule that's kind of set up for success. Every conference is going to have these. We talked about it in the SEC. We've talked about it in the Big 12. Now we're talking about it now in the All Coast Conference. Dave Doran returns. CJ Bailey, giving them an established quarterback. They added some defensive help in the linebacking core with Raul Aguirre and Dakari Nelson. But they lost a running back, Hollywood Smothers. It's a great name. It's just a great name all the way around. But that's a big loss for them. 8 returning starters from what I see, and one of the friendliest schedules gets them to 8-4. Wins over Richmond, App State, Louisville, Wake Forest, Stanford, Cal, Syracuse, and North Carolina. Every year we kind of, North Carolina State, could they turn 8-4 into 10-2? This is the kind of schedule that they might be able to if they can put all the pieces together. On my Gary rankings, they are number 1. All right. North Carolina State Gary owns both a Weber and a Blackstone. Says the Blackstone has changed the game, and Smashburgers has Smashburgers probably 4 nights a week.
Hell yeah. Smashburgers. Let's go. I'm a big Wolfpack fan. I love Dave Doran. Just a heck of a ball coach. NC State, they are the Wolfpack. Everybody always kind of keeps them in the middle of the pack. You got them 8-4. I got them 6-6. They're 8th on your list, 12 on mine. I think they could go higher than that. I just pick them off paper. Dave Doran, year 14 at North Carolina State. 95-70, 118-74 overall as a head coach. CJ Bailey, only the second college or high school recruit true to his spot that we've talked about on this list so far. He's 12-10 at North Carolina State. Bring in some. You talked about some good additions. I'm really excited to see Hunter Province. He's a tight end from Montana State. Got paid in the portal, had a really nice national championship game. They bring in Harvey Dyson, who's an edge rusher from Tulane, who had like 13 or 14 sacks, something crazy last year, down at Tulane. So any kind of time you can add production like that, 20 in the portal, 15 out, which is one of the more impressive spots on this list. So pretty well kept together squad. Personally, also doesn't have anything to do with the standings, but always one of the better jerseys in the country. There's just something about the red and black, just sharp, man. The Wolfpack always look good, but I think I feel safe having them right there in the middle of the pack, close to that 6-6 range. For sure they'll be bowl eligible. I don't know what the ceiling is. I'm sure 8 wins is the ceiling, but I definitely feel like 6 is the floor on this team.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Next for me, Ben, play Metallica. Enter Sandman. All right. Virginia Tech, the Hokies. I got them coming in at 9-3 on the year, biggest riser in the ACC. James Franklin taking over after getting ousted at Penn State. Some say unfairly. Bringing in former Virginia Tech coach Brent Pry as his defensive coordinator. QB Ethan Grunkemeyer, I don't know, and a whole slew of Penn State additions brought into this team. Just call it Penn State South. 14 returning starters, most in the ACC. Miami, SMU, and Clemson are all on the road, but the early schedule leaves a lot of runway to build some big momentum for this team. When you look at it, they start off wins against VMI, Old Dominion, Maryland, Boston College, Pitt, Cal, Georgia Tech. Then they go to Clemson and to SMU. I got them losses. And they host Stanford, win, and to Miami, loss. And then end the year at home against Virginia with a win. The schedule is just nice. I like what they're doing. I like I've always liked Franklin. I think this is a good spot for him. Not in kind of a premier program and like, can he ever reach the mountaintop? This is, hey, we're in the mountains and this is just where we live. This this is Virginia Tech, baby. It's kind of how we roll. Feels like a good spot for him. And excited to see what he can do. On the Gary rankings, these guys come in number 2. All right. Virginia Tech, Gary has Hokies Crocs. All right. And a cooler full of Busch Light is number 1 6 feet away.
Hell yeah, Gary. This is going to be one of our bigger disparities on the list. This is my ACC championship team.
Oh, that's not that big a disparity when you hear my champions record.
Yeah, 7-1. I ran through this, and then all of a sudden, I pick it alphabetically. So, print off the schedule, start with Boston College, run a week forward. So all of a sudden, I'm like, dang, I gave Virginia Tech a lot of wins as we're going through this on everybody else's schedule. And they were 3-9 last year, and then they fired Brent Pry, and then Franklin brings him back as the defensive coordinator, and to have this total revamp of a roster, they lose 26 kids, they bring 27 in. They're bringing 14 starters back. After Pry got fired, they won a game. Well, they ended up winning 3 games. He was out very quick, very early as well. And then they competed all year. I looked at these scores of their losses late. So they beat NC State on the road, beat Wofford at home. They lost to Wake by 7, lost to Georgia Tech by 2 scores, beat Cal at home, lost to Louisville by a score, got beat up by Florida State, got beat up by Miami, and then ended up losing to Virginia by 3 scores. But for a team that was 3-7, lost their head coach, you would imagine this whole thing to crumble, and it doesn't. And Grunkenmeyer was 4-3 at Penn State. It played a decent amount last year. This is obviously a Franklin guy. Keyshawn Brown coming in from Duke. Obviously a ton of Penn State guys, other than Grunkenmeyer, but Luke Reynolds, the tight end, I think he's going to be very special to like that Tyler Warren spot. I think Franklin keeping Brent Pry as the defensive coordinator, they're very close. That's why this was such a unique thing. But it also makes them, I think, the most interesting team in America, where you're blending literally the last regime and the new regime, and your guy that, okay, if you were a kid, Virginia Tech does have quite a football tradition, but if you were a guy that went to Virginia Tech and your guy is staying now after he got fired, what a mental, whoa. I don't know, man. I just think this is, they make Penn State pay. Obviously they don't play them, but I just think this is like a damn, we messed up situation. I think instantly they're playoff contenders. You look at the ACC, I'm not on the national level, I kind of feel the same of the ACC as I feel about the Big 12, obviously, but I just think this thing flips so fast. James Franklin's such a good coach. I'm excited, man. I love Virginia Tech. The Sandman is so sick. It's just one of those places, Blacksburg, Virginia, in the middle of fucking nowhere, and then a stadium that holds 100,000 people. Like, how fucking sweet. That is college football, man. So I'm very high on Virginia Tech, very high on James Franklin always. But, yeah, dude, this is my only perfection team from the All Coast Conference.
Perfection. You don't have them losing a game, huh?
No, I don't. I mean, that non-conference, I think, is, I love it. I love, they're at Maryland, which, Franklin's a Pennsylvania guy, and then he was at Penn State, which that was a rivalry once upon a time. And then they tried to make it a rivalry when Maryland came back into the Big Ten, but Maryland just hasn't been good at football. So they get to go to Maryland, and it's kind of like, I mean, what a bigger like slap in the face to Penn State, like right there, like watch me smack up this, these guys. I don't know, man. I'm excited. Like you said, like what's the biggest game here at Miami? Well, we watched Miami choke away a couple games. They lost 2 conference games last year, and they were in the, national championship. So wouldn't be uncommon for somebody like that to lose a game here. But yeah, I got them 12-0.
Wow. I love it. I love it, man. Next for me is Pitt. Pittsburgh. I got them coming in at 9-3 again. All right. Kind of a preseason sleeper that I like probably more than most, right? Pat Narduzzi still there. Mason Heinchel is the young QB, right? Year 2 breakout potential. They brought in wide receiver Malik Knight. He had some juice to the wide receiving core, but lost linebackers Kyle Lewis and Rasheem Biles, plus their 2 top receivers, but they do have 11 returning starters. All right. Road games are tough. Miami, Vatech, Louisville. Home slate's a lot friendlier. If Heinchel can kind of make a big jump for them, I think they become a team that nobody really wants to run into. Only losses I have on their schedule are to Virginia Tech, Miami, and Louisville. I got them beating everybody else and the can of soup that they brought with them. On my Gary ranking, they are 5 out of 17. Pittsburgh, Gary's Grill, has survived 14 Pittsburgh winners, and it looks like it fought in Korea.
Rusty. I got Pitt finishing 8th.
Also, side note, one of my favorite uniforms in the conference.
I do like that they are back to the classic blue and gold than the more navy and gold that they were for a couple of years in the Aaron Darnold, from like really Larry Fitzgerald to Darnold, right? Like that era. I'm glad they're back in these. I do agree. It is sharp. I got them 7-5. They were 8-5 last year. Mason Heinchel is the question mark, right? He was 6-3 last year. Everybody was all in on him. 16 guys in the portal, 16 guys out of the portal. Could be great. I think it's just the toughest ACC schedule, in my opinion. Like you kind of touched on, but Syracuse, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Boston College, Miami, Georgia Tech, Florida State, at Louisville, at Cal to end it. And the way I had it running, a lot of those teams are above them. Hard to count out Pat Narduzzi, but also hard to believe that this is year 12 at Pitt for Pat Narduzzi. Nothing like crazy about this team, but they're just going to be a lunch pail team. Excited to see it, man. So they're gonna ruin somebody's season. They will. I'm calling it now.
For sure, my guy. Next for me, Virginia Cavaliers. Got them going 9-3. Got a lot of teams here bunched up at 9-3. You can't tell. Look, they won 11 games last year, but schedule keeps them getting to Charlotte a real possibility. Tony Elliott, reigning ACC Coach of the Year. QB room added 2 QBs, Eli Holstein and Bo Pribula, however you say that, which is nice. Those 2 plus running back Peyton Lewis and safety Brandon Hillman. Good haul in the portal, but they lost their leading rusher Jamari Taylor. That's going to hurt. 8 returning starters, but a big advantage in the schedule. They avoid Miami, Clemson, Pitt, Louisville, Georgia Tech, and Notre Dame. Probably going to be worse than 11 wins overall, but I think they're going to have a really good record just based on that schedule. Again, 9-3. Only losses I see: Florida State, SMU, and Vatech. Got on the Gary ranking, they come in at 11th, right? The Virginia Gary calls it the outdoor cooking area, and there are absolutely string lights nearby that grill.
Gotta have them. I'm right there. I got them 10-2, finishing fourth in the conference. Last year they were 11-3. Touched on the returners. I think Tony Elliott's finally getting to a spot where this thing is flipping around. They bring in Bo Prabula, former Penn State, Mizzou quarterback, 7-3 last year at Mizzou. Kind of a surprise transfer out. I think early on, kind of both times. There was, when Aller was close to getting, he's pretty beat up going into that Penn State run, and then he hit the portal early. It just kind of is a weird deal, but 31 guys in, 20 out of the portal. They brought in some big time players, predominantly some edge rushers, Matthew Fobbs White from Baylor, and then Nana Awane from Texas San Antonio. That kid, I have not seen a lot of him, but was a very highly ranked transfer portal kid. Just one of those like super raw freak DNs that, they just build sculptures of. That's how he looks. Just a smart portal run. You nailed it, dude. They have one of the easier schedules again, which is great, I guess, for them. But I'm right there, 10-2, finishing fourth.
Nice. Next for me, I got SMU. Mustangs got them coming in at 9-3. Look, they're a legit contender. Easy path to get to Charlotte. QB Kevin Jennings coming back gives them continuity at one of the most important positions. They added wide receiver Yannick Smith and Jalen Hale, and plus a running back Kendrick Raphael. But their defensive front took some losses in the portal. Got 11 returning starters, super friendly schedule draw. They avoid Miami, Clemson, Georgia Tech, North Carolina State, and Pitt. Notre Dame's a big matchup, but obviously that's non-conference, even though they play almost everyone in the conference. Maybe not the deepest roster, but quarterback in the schedule, good combination. Losses I see them catching are Florida State, Louisville, and Notre Dame. 9-3 on the year. On my Gary rankings, they are dead last, 17 out of 17. SMU Gary's name actually isn't Gary, it's Tripp, and he has a $14,000 outdoor kitchen, 2 TVs, and zero intention of ever cooking.
Yeah, I like that that's your Gary, because SMU's got a lot of money. There's a lot of money in Dallas, man. This should be a better portal team than I think they are. The donors bought their way into the ACC, and that's the truth. It's a very interesting story. Rhett Lashley's done a really good job there going into year 5. Kevin Jennings is 19-7. Again, one of the few high school recruits to stay true, which you love. He's entering a senior season. This team's 2 years removed from the playoff. It's a very interesting squad to me. They bring in, some guys. I think biggest is Kendrick Raphael, the running back from Cal, Theo Ostrom, tight end from Texas A&M. So they bring in some weapons for Kevin Jennings. But you did say, and you're right, big losses on that D line. That's going to be tough. I got them 9-3 as well. My losses are Louisville, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. But you got them 4th. I got them 6th. We're right there. We're splitting hairs.
Bang. Next for me, and my last 9-3 team. Sorry for making 5 of them. It's just the way the schedule worked out when I was putting losses and wins up, is the Clemson Tigers. All right. I think they bounced back after what was just an absolutely underwhelming year for that program. And really like a kind of an important year for Dabo, I believe. Even though I know he thinks he's a lifer there. Look, I've talked about it in the NFL, these donors, these fan bases, owners, whatever, they just get itchy. And if they don't see what they want to see after a while, eventually they cut slack. Not saying that's going to happen right away, but I think if he has another bad year like last, that seat gets pretty hot. A lot of variance in this team, I think, when I look at the schedule, but all that being said. Chad Morris coming back to call the offense after Garrett Riley's departure. Christopher Vizina getting the first shot at replacing Cade Klubnik. Dabo's finally a little bit more active in the portal, especially on defense. Got Bryant Wesco Jr. and then TJ Moore as some receiving weapons. They got 8 returning starters. Brutal top end of that schedule. A bunch of teams that all show up, but I just had some faith in them. And based on what I had done in other conference previews, this is kind of the way it shook out for me at 9-3. So, they open with LSU. I hung a loss on them there, but then they get wins against Georgia, Southern, North Carolina, Cal. I think they beat Miami at home because they're hot. Then they beat Charleston Southern, and then Virginia Tech. They lose to Florida State at FSU, and they beat Syracuse, Georgia Tech, Duke, and then lose at home to South Carolina to finish 9-3. I don't know. I just have a little bit more faith in that program than maybe I should. Yeah, on the Gary ranking, Clemson Gary comes in at number 3 out of 17. He's been standing next to his grill since 10:13 a.m. For a 7:30 p.m. kickoff, and he has very strong opinions on charcoal.
Yeah, Dabo's got very strong opinions on the portal, much like Gary on charcoal. Still doesn't. 15 in, 14 out. I don't think Dabo's ever in trouble. I think it's time for Clemson as a whole to join the new era of college football. They were a great program when it was just development, right? This Vizina kid is another Dabo developed product, 6'4". He's fits every mold they have. He started one game last year. They lost to SMU 29-4. He was 29 of 42, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 317 yards. He's a high school kid. He's been there forever. This is year 19 for Dabo. I just don't see the seat getting hot. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's just a program that is they're content on the culture, which is great. But it worked in 2016. That doesn't work anymore. They brought in no relation to Chris Johnson. But Chris Johnson Jr., I mean, his dad is Chris Johnson, but not CJ2K. He's a running back transfer from SMU. Elliott Washington is a Penn State corner that people are really high on. But, yeah, I got him 7-5. They could be better for sure. I think we were still really high on them last year. Was all in on Cade Klubnik, and they just didn't produce. So, obviously, every team's new. I do still respect, Dabo sticking true, the 15 in, 14 out. He's not going crazy in the portal. They're not losing kids in the portal. It is still big on the culture there, but for them to get back to where they were, I really think they're going to have to find a way to get some money into that program and start spending. So it's going to be some different times there, but I think Clemson's just kind of back to the island of mediocrity.
We differ in opinions, sir. All right, I'm down to my top 2, and it's a tie at 10-2 for how I think this league is going to shake out. In order of Gary's, right? Next up for me is the Louisville Cardinals. Got them finishing at 10-2. I think they high upside title contender all the way around. Jeff Brom, offensive architect. He loves this stuff. They got an Ohio State transfer in at quarterback, Lincoln Keinholz. If he can develop him, I think they've got a long runway. Also got a Vanderbilt wide receiver, Trey Richardson. Which will help because they're trying to replace their top 4 receivers. They got 8 returning starters. Schedule looks tough, but avoiding Miami helps them a lot, I think, right? And as Brom usually gets a lot out of his quarterbacks, if this Keinholz kid hits, I think they could absolutely win this league like I've got them predicted out here. On their Gary rankings, Louisville Gary is number 4 out of 17, also known as Bourbon Gary. All right. He's dangerously confident around meat temperatures and refers to his barbecue sauce as his secret weapon. Only losses I see on their schedule are Ole Miss and NC State. I got them beaten Villanova, SMU, Wake Forest, Florida State, Syracuse, Stanford, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, and Kentucky.
I'm right there. I got him at 11-1. Jeff Brom, like Gary, super confident. One of my favorite clips of all time was when Jeff Brom was playing quarterback in the XFL. He got a concussion the week before, and he says, "Is this or is this not the XFL? Do I or do I not have a pulse? Let's play football." Dude, the guy just loves ball. Lincoln Kleinholz comes in, Ohio State kid, TF Riggs High School, Pierre, South Dakota. Pretty coveted in the transfer portal. Has not had a collegiate start yet. This was a big time recruit coming out of high school. I mean, this is always so crazy because it's a South Dakota quarterback. I had him high, and then 38 in, 61 out in the portal. I think Louisville is getting some more money to compete, I think, is more of this. I think they're seeing what Brom can do. He's 9-4 last year, 28-12 in his 4 years so far. At Louisville, he's a Louisville guy, right? He played quarterback there himself. I'm just kind of all in on them on this league. The only loss I see them picking up is week 1 against Ole Miss. I have them finishing second to Vatek.
Hell yeah.
So we both have them finishing second.
Well, I have them tied for first.
Well, sure. But somebody's got to win the championship.
Yeah. That's fair. My last team I've got on the schedule is Miami. Got them going 10-2. They're obviously the favorite in this conference. They got a college football caliber roster. Mario Cristobal has done some really incredible things there. The addition of Darian Mensah is a big get for them after getting surprisingly elevated and somewhat consistent play out of Carson Beck last year. I think that helped that team a lot. Huge hits in the portal with Mensah, Malachi, Tony, and Mark Fletcher. Returning is big. Unfortunately, they got to replace 4 linemen, which is huge. Not to mention their defensive players on their D line, which was a big part of their college football run. But we're not talking about the college football playoff yet. We're talking about the ACC, and it's not the same. 10 returning starters, manageable schedule overall. Clemson and Notre Dame are the big landmines for them if they run into them. Yeah, they're no longer chasing, right? They're the hunted. Can they handle it? I think they can this year. Again, they know what it's like. On the Gary rankings, they're 10th out of 17. Okay. Miami Gary owns a $4,800 grill, but he's only used it twice.
This Miami team, I got them going 10-2.
This is the Clemson and Notre Dame.
Yeah, I got Notre Dame and Virginia Tech, but same but different. I think it's really hard to strike gold twice. Darian Mensah does not turn the ball over, right? In 2 years of college football, I think he's thrown 56 or something touchdowns and like 12 interceptions. He's very special, but you nailed it. 3 of those offensive linemen got drafted this last year. Their 2 star DNs were first rounders. Quarterback's great, but man, I'm trying to think of who said it. I can't tell you who will win the national championship when we go to this NIL stuff, but he said that's part of his quote, but he said, I can tell you what they look like. And he just described massive offensive and defensive linemen. And that's the truth. That's why this Miami team was so good. They were so good on both fronts, man. And, they bring in Damon Wilson from Mizzou. That's great. But then the big 2 in the portal were Mensah and Mercade from Duke, the wide receiver transfer. 13 in, 38 out. It's part of just like NFL free agency. You play later in the year, more people want you, right? It doesn't matter who you are. All of a sudden, you're a star. They lost 2 in the league last year. I think they do the same. I just have a hard time buying in all the way on Miami. I don't know why. Could have easily obviously been like, yep, they're going 12-0. They'll be there. I don't know. I think the O-line, D-line thing is weighing heavy. But yeah, it's great when they're good. I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm just kind of waiting around for them to be consistent. Miami, the problem with some of these blue bloods, I guess I'll leave it at like this for the night, is the teams we call the blue bloods, the teams that were good in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, when they fall off and then they have a 1 year back. Like now all of a sudden we're like, oh, Miami's back. Well, are they though? It was 1 year, it's a flash in the pan. We've seen, it was SMU made the playoffs,
Sure.
Boise State back, they made the playoff. I don't know. They still didn't win the whole thing. Obviously it's harder now than ever. I just don't know, man. Yeah, they got some decent returners on defense. Really, everybody they had the guys drafted, and then the other 6 are back, which is huge. But I don't know. We'll see. It'll be an interesting time. I don't love I get it, but they don't have a shit for a non-conference. Obviously, they play Notre Dame, but Florida A&M, Central Michigan, like, they're just chilling. They're just banking on that Notre Dame game. So we'll see, man. It'll be a fun one. I think we at Stanford week 1. Maybe we're totally wrong. Stanford just sets the tone, comes out. The Fighting Andrew Lucks knock him off.
Yeah, maybe. Right. It's like everything you're saying about them to me is just kind of how I feel about the conference as a whole.
Yeah.
I have 2 teams at 10-2 and 5 at 9-3. Right? Like, it's just really hard for me to buy in on any of them.
100%.
Just because nobody in this conference has been consistent of late in producing. And last year was just a really good representation of like how chaotic that conference is. Good teams losing to teams they shouldn't lose to in situations that should not happen. And that's just kind of how I feel about them all the time. And honestly, like as I'm going through the schedule, I'm like, oh, this is going to be their loss here, and then also, oh, this team's going to surprise some people and pick this team off there. Right. And it's just like, it's not inspiring. I think what they did what Miami did in the playoff was, truly special for them, just because it was, everything coming together and them being able to kind of flex a lot of muscle. And it was like, hell yeah, good for you guys,
Yeah, it was getting hot at the right time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That first round win against A&M, what was that final? 12-10. But they won. They just pulled it out, right? Obviously, we got the classic with Ole Miss here in the Fiesta Bowl, and then the national championship is what the national championship was. But yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. I feel that way about this conference too. I was just kind of looking. I got like 4 bottom of the barrel teams, and then like 7 or 8 right there in the middle that are all right there, and then 5 or 6 top end teams. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, and much like the Big 12, much like the ACC, I really feel like they're just going to beat each other up, and it's just going to be a bloodbath, which is good. That's good for the sport. That's what we want. That is what we want. But I don't know. We could be so wrong on this. We were so wrong on this conference last year.
Yep. Yeah. National title contender, I think, was like what we thought about Clemson. And
for sure,
along with everybody else. We all thought they were going to do a hell of a lot better than they did. So this is the joy of doing this. Thankfully, somebody keeps track of what we put down and they call us out on it at the end of the year. So we should bring that up after the next one.
Deal.
I think he still has that.
Yeah, I had him send it to me again.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the ACC, folks. The All Coast Conference.
The All Coast Conference is right.
Thanks to Stanford and Cal.
That's right, baby.
Good to see you. Yeah, brother. Anything else we should touch on tonight? That was a fun one.
Yeah, no. Again, our previews go long. I think we can wrap. We are off again this Friday. This is the last one. It's scrimmage week for us, so that's crazy. We're a week away from games as well. But
You
then
got a shout out you have to deliver.
Oh, yeah. I just to interim to Fox, the Lakers, amateur football. We talk about it a lot. They went perfect again this year, and 5 straight league championships, and an ode to the legacy of TK. That was something that was said once, like, hey, I think we win 5 of these in a row, and then just sail off into the sunset because nobody's ever done it. And obviously he passed away this year, and that's what those boys are doing, and they're locking it up. And Jordan put together, really good video thanking like anybody that had ever touched their program. And it's kind of sad to see it go away. And but I understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. But just a lot of work that goes into amateur football, and I just wanted to make sure that those guys got their props from other people as well, because obviously outside of building a good team, I don't want to say anybody can do it because anybody can't, but just been fun to watch my friends have fun still and dominate, and to be a part of that a little bit before I left. And yeah, man, just wanted to make sure they got their flowers because it's pretty special, pretty impressive. They put together this thing. I'm sure I could find it, but they just dominated, dude. And nothing more fun than that. They practice one time, and then they're just a bunch of dudes that love ball, and they're like, let's show up and beat the shit out of everybody. So I just want to make sure I give them their flowers. He's a big part of this. He's, one of the few people that text us every week, no matter what. So just appreciate him, and just want to be sure we gave him his flowers on it.
Hell yeah. 5 straight of anything is impressive. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. Congrats. Hell of an ode to what sounds like a great man. So bravo, sirs. Yeah, no pod on Friday. I think y'all all survive. Wish Ben luck at his scrimmage. No fighting.
No fighting, please, God, no fighting. Please, no fighting at the scrimmage. Please, no fighting week 1. Please, no fighting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hope everybody has a great week. Truly, and as always, do appreciate everybody for listening. It means a hell of a lot. Always appreciate any outreach in respect to this. Help us out. Spread the good word. All right. Until next time, be easy. Ben, do your thing, my man.
Appreciate y'all for listening. Be a friend, tell a friend. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe again, rate 5 stars, all that fun stuff. Be good, everybody.
And whatever you do, get back to even.